have been his A&I jersey. A&I.
I'm sorry, Timothy. I'm sorry. Just a moment. I'm trying to keep up with you. Would it be all right with you if I did audio record you, or would you prefer that I don't do that?
No, not yet.
Okay, then. All right, no problem. I'm just typing my notes out. I'm listening. Go ahead.
So in 1989, Johnny Bailey, Texas A&I. This is very important. He got drafted with the Bears. He died in 2010 from pancreatic cancer. He was a good dude. But he kind of broke the stereotype of these prison schools, because A&I was one of the schools where you couldn't get into the big ones because you had a criminal record. You could play here and have a chance to go to the pros.
Okay.
And that's kind of what they were. They were the original Glenn Junior College, or whatever these little junior colleges are now.
Okay.
So that was my brush with greatness, because the dude was just a badass. If you ever get a chance to see the game, 5 touches, touchdown.
Is there a clip of that game on YouTube by chance?
I don't know, but they erased my entire 1989 football season from my website on Abilene Christian, at Abilene Christian University. Somebody went in and hacked it and destroyed the entire website. But fortunately, Angelo State and Stephen F. Austin, who we always played that year, kept all their stuff. So we were able to
really?
get it all back together.
Someone hacked you. Someone hacked you just recently in the light of after the George Floyd supposed killing that happened a few weeks ago. Your website got hacked?
Not my website, the university.
I'm sorry, the university, right?
And they removed the whole year.
And when did you become an attorney at law?
2006.
Great, and you've been have a successful practice ever since then?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. But in 1989, that was when it was happening. This first how I ran into these guys by paper, and somebody went in and erased the entire year from the university of football. The football season, it's gone.
Okay.
It goes 1999, 1988, 2000.
So that sounds like they're trying to wipe the history of you having any association with Johnny Bailey and potentially then George Floyd. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. But they forgot about something. You got other schools in the conference. It was a Lone Star conference back then. Like I said, you got Stephen F. Austin, you got San Angelo State. We played North Texas. They were Division II 1A back then. All these schools have their stuff online. You can't get all of it.
Sure.
So it was real easy for them to pull up rosters.
Sure.
And find out, okay, this is right. All these investigators, all of these super sleuths, all across the country, they started calling me. And I thought, what's the big fucking deal? Just look it up.
Yeah.
Go look and see when he was born, when he played, and be done with it. And they just didn't want to do that. They wanted to be spoon fed to them. And I was like, I'm not here to say there's any kind of speculation or any kind of conspiracy. I'm saying that the guy that they say play football here is not the same guy that's in those pictures up there.
Interesting.
So then it got worse. So then the Houston Chronicle ran this paper ad, front page of the sports section, showing this George Floyd from Minnesota in a Houston Yates uniform.
Okay.
Which is a big high school in Houston. He was supposed to be the star tight end, 6'4", big dude. Looked just like the guy. Problem is, that guy never existed. People came out with the actual program. It had been photoshopped. They photoshopped this dude's head and his features onto this kid's body, claiming he played at Houston Yates and put it on the front page of the Houston Chronicle. What the fuck?
Interesting.
Why? Interesting. So I did all this stuff's on my blog, my posts and stuff. And like I said, I'm not making any money on this. You guys figure this shit out.
Yeah, I'm not making any money. I'm making low budget YouTube videos and perhaps.
You're on it. You can do what you want with it. Just take it. I'm giving it all to you because after what happened yesterday, I'm done with it.
Oh.
So something happened yesterday, which is more interesting. So then all this is starting to snowball, and people are sending me stuff going, well, everything we're looking at on you is right, but everything that they're saying is wrong because your guy was 5'7" or 5'8". I go, nah, maybe 5'10". There's a defensive back, and I had a picture of, by the way, this is the great part, of my guy and his sister. Because the sister, remember the one from Minnesota that called and said that she didn't want to do with the guy?
Okay.
She gets on a plane after he dies, and she's down here the next day, walking all over town, threatening to sue everybody.
Wow.
Suing everybody. Saying, I wanted his body, he was supposed to be cremated, nobody get permission. Y'all mistreated him, he died of a drug overdose. And she had a huge yellow Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. And a puppy chihuahua. And this was 16. remember all this shit. I have an eidetic memory when it comes to this kind of crap.
Roughly what month? What month in 2016?
I think he died late 15, and she came down like January.
Interesting. Yeah, I was looking at some of these events around what looks like the staged death of a fake George Floyd just a few weeks ago, and you got to imagine, you know, most cops they value their jobs even though they might have a big ego and they'll try to get away with things in public. But if he's this cop Derek Chauvin is looking at the camera, he knows he's on camera for 6 to 8 minutes, and he knows that his job would be in jeopardy if he actually kills the guy. Why would he continue doing that? Unless he wasn't a real cop. And then people are saying if you zoom in on the badges don't even have any real ID numbers on them, and the badges look like they were ironed on to the uniform. And but then you don't have any cops coming forward from the Minnesota PD saying that this is a scam. So maybe they're silenced as well. And then the mayor would have to be complicit as well.
We'll get to that here in a second. I got your answers on that too. So this is all how it goes for me. So I'm thinking no big deal. Well, all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up because some guy named Young Pharaoh took my post and kind of adjusted it a little bit.
Yep, I know Young Pharaoh. I know who that is.
And it blew up. And I need to thank him, but it scared me to death. So I thought, oh my God, I got an ex-wife and kids in Fort Worth. I got a wife in Alabama. But I say I need this for this to go real bad. I was just trying to make a point that they were lying about, when this got played. And it started rolling. And so the next thing to do is I'm getting stuff from these people that knew my George Floyd. And they're saying, oh, that dude, yeah, I knew him. Remember him? They called him slow. He was this. I mean, all this information just starts bubbling in. And about the same time, everybody starts looking at the videotape and it's bullshit. The timing isn't right. The way they acted, the fact that, I'm telling you this, the fact that the way that they acted around this whole situation was like it's being filmed for a reason.
Right.
Like the guy sat there forever. The guy said he tried to pass a fake note. He tried to pass a fake bill. Then he sat there for 30 minutes. Then, these other cops saying, hey, go away. Don't worry about the other cops. For the other ones to show up. We're filming this. And then what happened was something that only a lawyer would catch. I got a TV interview with the district attorney for the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this newspaper reporter sticks his microphone in his face and says, you have had this videotape for 2 weeks before it was leaked to the media. Why didn't you press charges at that time? And he says, cop. And the DA looks at him and goes, well, because I have facts that you don't have. And I have facts and evidence that you don't have. That's why. And the reporter goes, oh, okay. And walks off. To me, your case just ended right there. Because your DA just told you that whatever happened, it was either justifiable because it was self-defense, or it was something else like a killing authorized by the state, execution, which of course that can happen.
Whoa.
Or it never happened.
Interesting.
The guy never died. Either it was justifiable or it never happened. So when you start with that premise that the guy never died,
sure.
The guy on the videotape, he never died.
Sure.
Then you go, well, then what's next? Well, you got to find a body. Well, shit, that's not a big deal. Once you autopsy him and fillet him up, then it's not a problem. Now on my side of it here in Texas, I do probate law. I do a lot of litigation over that stuff. We fight over stuff, wills, and we fight over who's an heir and who's not. And we have a little thing down here called a DNA statute, where anybody that comes in and claims to be an heir of somebody has to prove by DNA evidence that they are. So this guy in Minnesota, this George Floyd, he's got a daughter. They've been, she's kind of showing her around, and there's about 8 or 9, maybe 8 or 19 more potential kids out there that want part of this $19 million to get donated to them. Remember that money?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Over $19 million was donated to his family.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting.
And that belongs to his estate.
Fascinating.
They're going to bury him in Texas. We're going to probate the will, or probate his estate, the will, here in Texas. And Houston Probate Court number 3, by the way. Write that down. Houston Probate Court number 3. You're going to need this because it's going to be big.
Okay.
And in that court, the judge is going to make them prove by DNA evidence that they're heir to this guy's money. They're going to be able to do a DNA test. Well, if his body can't give DNA anymore because they've done something with it through all the testing, the sister's going to have to. And the sister knows she's not related.
Huh.
So now she's scared shitless. And now her people are contacting me wanting to know how the fuck to get out of it.
Huh. So they're caught. They're caught red-handed. And they're literally calling you right now. How do we get out of this?
The question, the question is this. My name is Steve. I live in Houston, Texas, and I got a question for you. I'm like, okay, Steve, what do you got? Look, I got a probate matter where I got a friend of mine that got some money. And he died. And now the baby mamas are all coming out of the woodwork. But the problem is that we don't want to know who baby mamas and daddies are. And I said, I got you. And I said, this is what you do. You all come to a family agreement. You take everybody in the room, and you all sit down and you go, we got $19 million to cut amongst ourselves, or we fight about this, let the lawyers get it. If we can all come to agreement on who gets what, we don't have to probate anything. Everybody gets their little money, move on down the road. Because if you guys do what I think is going to have happen, then everybody's going to know that there ain't no body in that coffin.
Yeah, they had a closed casket funeral. That was really fishy. And they're claiming the guy was 6'6" tall, and the casket didn't look like it was that big.
Yeah. No. And the other problem is that Steven Jackson, some football guys coming out saying that they were friends, and that guy may have known my George Floyd. He didn't know that dude in Minnesota, but he might have known my guy. Because he said some things that matched my guy.
I see.
So I think there's a mistake. There's a mistaken identity. They're using some accurate information from here, some accurate information there, but then they're being wrong on the left side, and the right side's not talking to the hand that's trying to feed it. So that at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going on. They're all confused, and they can't prove one part of the story.
Have any major news media outlets tried to interview you for this?
Yes, all of them.
I haven't seen you on television.
Because I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I'll tell them the same thing I told you. It doesn't do any good to argue about this yet.
Yeah.
Get the probate done.
And you want to protect your family as well.
Why would I go out there? Why would I want to go out there and start pointing fingers about shit that I don't have to yet? The law will catch up to this thing.
Interesting.
The DNA will be done, and they'll have to do it. Now, this is where it got weird for me. So I've been a lot of people that are clearly behind the Black Lives Matter movement, and they really want this to be proven to be right. And I tell them what I'll tell you, which is, it doesn't matter if they prove it all to be bullshit. You all believe that at some time during that day, someplace, maybe Mississippi or North Carolina, a cop was doing that exact same thing to a black man. Because you all believe that. And they're like, yeah, you're right. So it doesn't matter if it's fake or not. Y'all were just pissed off at this. Y'all were pissed off at all the shit.
Yeah.
And they all just go, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. The guy stands up in front of God and everybody on national TV and goes, it was a joke. We were doing a video for a play. We're sorry. It's misconstrued. We tried to come back clean, but you guys wouldn't listen to it. So we're sorry. It was a joke. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, people are still they're gonna believe what they want to believe. Yeah.
And that's why I'm not giving interviews, and that's why I'm not talking to people, and that's why I'm not out there beating the drum, because it doesn't change anything. If this changes the way the police officers treat people, great. If we're a little more sensitive, great. The one I feel the most sorry for is that sister, because that woman looks terrified. So I think she's probably been threatened with an inch of her life that she doesn't, carry the load, and toe the line. That it's gonna be a problem because she's the one stuck in this deal. Because under the laws of the state of Texas, if you die without a will, your kids get everything. So she's not gonna get a dime. So there's all that part of it to the left. And my Black Lives Matter people, they're nice. They talk to me, they're polite, we discuss it. They go, you're right. What do you do about it? I'm like, nothing. Why? The riots have already happened. The protests are happening. What do I have to gain? What do I have to gain? What can I actually win?
Sure.
Nothing. And so now we're getting to the point where we're talking about where I can give you a little more information. So the way I caught this case is that if you become incapacitated and you don't have a guardian or a next of kin here in Texas, something called an information letter is sent to the court. What really happens is somebody from the hospital calls and goes, look, we've got somebody OD'd. We need somebody to come down here to make medical decisions. So they'll give you a piece of paper, or they'll call you on the phone and go, Dan, you need to go to the hospital, and so-and-so, some bed. So I run down to Spawn Memorial, which is one of 3 memorial hospitals here, and he's sitting there outside the ICU room, and they're telling me about what happened to him. He'd OD'd on the synthetic. and the guy on an intubator, and he's not going to make it. And he's going to die within the next 2 or 3 days. I mean, 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, oh, well, what am I here for? And the doctor's already made decisions, right? Like, yeah, you can leave. I'm walking up the door, down the steps, and the phone rings, and the guy's awake. Come back around and go back up there and sit with him for about 2 hours. And that's when we got talking about where he was from and what he did and about Johnny Bailey and all that kind of mess. Because that day I happened to have on my Abilene Christian University t-shirt when I went up there, and he saw that. So we talked about that. He was a good dude. He was just strung out. He was nothing. He was down to bones.
You said he was, did you say he was strung out? I couldn't hear you clearly.
Oh, yeah. Bad strung out. Bad strung out.
Yeah.
On that synthetic. But he told me he remembered all about A&I and about Johnny Bailey. And, you know, he was surprised that he outlived him. He said, I'm very surprised I outlived Johnny Bailey. He did about 6 years. So all that's great and wonderful. So I go down to the hospital. I'm like, look, guys, I got to get the records for this guy because this bullshit's coming back on me. And I'll make sure that I can prove that this was all true. And they go, well, you know that the guy was indigent, he was homeless, had no insurance, so he will not have any medical records because we couldn't admit him. If we admit him, then we have to take care of him.
Oh, my God.
I went, well, do you have anything to prove that this all happened? And they're like, well, no. And I go, I think I do. And the hospital lady goes, what do you mean? I go, I think I remember making copies of his medical records so that I could get something from another hospital he claimed to have been to. And she goes, you better not have made copies of that. That's a federal offense. She told me that. And I said, no, it's not. It's not a federal offense. You violate HIPAA. I go, he's dead. He doesn't have HIPAA anymore. And she got to the glued on this shit. So I do have that. I do have those records to prove that I actually knew the guy. And I've got my letter from the judge appointing me. And I've got a couple other things in need be if police or the FBI would show up and say, hey, prove this shit. So I'm okay. But all of a sudden, after I talked to the hospital that way, somebody started removing my cases from the register here at county courthouse one by one. Pop, pop, pop. I went from having like 250 cases in the past 10 years, having 3.
Really?
They took away all my cases.
Over 200 of your cases were just missing from the files.
Electronically.
Oh, electronically. Okay. Yep.
They're just gone. And the problem is that when you do that, my cases usually have other lawyers involved. So taking away my case removes them too. So all of a sudden their cases were disappearing. And it's this huge, cluster because it was taking away the whole system.
So then
we're all trying to figure out why.
Okay. So then from the
So why would they do that?
Yeah, why would they do that? They want to discredit you or try to ruin any connection you might have to the real George Floyd. So if you try to come forward, you don't have anything.
And you know what? This is the crazy thing. Once again, if they would have left it alone, there wouldn't have been anything. Seriously, if they would have just left me alone, there would have been anything to find.
So
when they went so hide them, there would have been nothing. Nobody would have gone and looked at this kind of stuff. Nobody would have known where to go find stuff. But when they started trying to get rid of my shit, it made them have to go look. Meaning people that actually have the records, the custodians, go find it.
Interesting.
And they were finding it. And they just were left alone. So by actually going through the process of trying to ruin me, they made me more credible.
Interesting. So then, you're very weird. And then it's kind of funny when they try to suppress the information, it just comes to light more. So then, in your opinion, on the video clips that we're seeing in the corner store and in the street, that black man is a crisis actor that just happens to look like the George Floyd that you knew?
No, that guy was a bouncer at strip joint where the police officer also worked. They knew each other. They knew each other for 10 years, 15 years.
So Freemason, Illuminati, just trying to pull off a globalist agenda to create riots?
No. Vomit. They're better than that.
Okay.
This is too bottom feeding even for them. I'm serious. I mean, this isn't deep state. This isn't what this is. It's some idiots that did the videotape and they got caught and they didn't know what the hell to do. And somebody took him and went, you know what? Let's leak this to the media like it's real. See what happens. And that's all they had to do. Not one single person had to say another word. You leak that tape, and then you walk away. And it's all. And they blew it. And the media just blew it up to nothing. I mean, everybody went crazy.
How did they get their hands on 2 police vehicles then, without some connections?
Well, you buy those. You'll buy them at the auction. Those weren't current. Those weren't like they were actually like drive them down and use them for police work after the little job. No, they got those from the impound yard.
That's a good point. Then I wonder why other police didn't show up to stop what they were doing. I guess nobody was clued in on the fact that this was a fake event at the time.
No, they all knew that. They all knew it was a fake event. That's why the one cop that showed up, they told him to go away. We're filming this for training purposes.
Oh my God! Interesting. Okay.
If it's all just, hey, look, dude, we're doing this for training. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
So then, at one point in the video, you see the black man. I'll just say George Floyd. It looks like
Minnesota George.
Well, whatever.
We call him Minnesota George.
Minnesota George. Okay. At one point, he appears to drool unconsciously and urinate his pants. You can see a urine stream coming down the pavement. Was that just like his cue? Did they have a cue like, hey, when I piss my pants, then it's all over, and then the hoax is over, and then you get off of me? Is that
right? Of course, a water balloon.
It could have been a water balloon. He popped a water balloon in his pants. Yeah, something like that. That's kind of it seemed almost like it was a signal. Like when the urine stream goes down the pavement, that's a sign that we're done. Because then an ambulance shows up, and you don't get 2 EMTs out of the ambulance. It's 2 more cops in some kind of a different type of uniform.
And the bottom line is this: at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, what did these people actually say to incite these riots? What did they do? Nothing. The family said nothing. Nobody did anything. They put it on TV and shit was on. And there was press conferences with people that had no authority to do anything, but stand there and go, "What the hell? What are we going to do?" I mean, we can't even find the guy.
Well, then the supposed family members that testified in the media, those are also actors?
No, they didn't. No. The sister never said a word.
Okay.
The sister had never said a word that said that this is my brother.
Oh, interesting.
She said this is atrocity, this is awful, this is not good, this is bad for blah, blah, blah. But nobody had ever said that this is George Floyd.
Interesting.
Look at what they say. I never say, oh, yeah, this is my brother. He was, let me talk to you about when he was a little kid.
Yeah, I gotta watch those clips again because the news media seemed to paint it as if they were direct family members.
No.
No, they don't. They don't say it, but they make you think you're saying it.
Yeah.
The sister, the one that, and by the way, she's the tie-in. She ties in between my guy and their guy because she's consistent. She's the one that came down here to look at my George Floyd, and she's also the one up there claiming that that's his George, or representing that that's George Floyd.
Could you tell me her name?
No, I couldn't.
Never mind.
I can't. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That woman is the same woman.
Okay.
And then they said that, okay, my George Floyd was born in 67, all right? This George Floyd, they said, was born in 73. That's a 7-year swing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the records of A&I, it doesn't match up. It's my guy, not him.
Okay.
You look at the Yates stuff. You look at all the football. Anytime you can pin down a date and a time, and you measure it towards what anybody else is saying about this guy, it doesn't match.
Interesting.
I mean, they had the tape. By the way, they proved it. They proved that this police officer hadn't been on the payroll for, 30 days? The one that allegedly did the manslaughter.
The Derek Michael Chauvin. They say he wasn't on payroll for 30 days. Because I was wondering if they're using a real police officer's name or if they fabricated the name of the cop too, because you would think anybody could search that as a matter of public record. So they would have to use a real police officer's name.
Nobody cares, and that's your problem.
Yeah.
You're talking about this, and it's fun, and it's funny, and we can poke holes and that kind of stuff. But I can walk out of my door and walk down to the nearest bar, and I can say, "What do you think about X?" And half the bar is going to say, "Shut the fuck up," and half the bar is going to say, "Preach on."
Sure.
No matter what I say.
Sure.
And that's the problem you're running into now. And you go, well, we would expose this hoax because I talked to one guy who was really pushing, and I said, "What do you want to have happen? What do you want to have happen? Do you think it's going to go back to what everything was okay? We're going to go back to worry about this, disease, this virus again?
Right.
That's what's coming next."
Well, the problem is you try to even hint that it might have been a staged event. People think you're racist and you don't care about black people. If you just even question the validity of the supposed killing, people they virtue signal and turn into a social justice warrior, and they think you're racist, you don't care about black people, and you're just trying to say, hey, wait a minute, you know, the same thing with 9/11. You saw two planes hit the towers, and the towers fall at free fall speed. Nine seconds they fall to the ground like a demolition job. But no, it was definitely some guy in a cave on a walkie-talkie on the other side of the world that pulled the whole thing off.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Actually, you can repeat this if you want. As your own, I'll give it to you. I've dealt with your situation where you say something, and by the way, white people won't say it to me, but I've had a couple of black people say it to me. You know, that what you say sounds awfully racist when I say what I've told you. And I go, I understand that. But I was there. I saw the man. I saw what happened to him. I know he was cremated. I know where they put him. I know what happened to this guy. I knew enough about him to know we have something in common. I know that guy's not him. Because it was me. I got appointed to this guy. I've got the information. I saw it. I'm not being racist. I'm telling you this because I'm telling you this, black man, black woman. What's coming next? Another round of this fucking virus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this time, gloves will be off. You guys won't be protected.
No.
What if they got up the sleeves? It'll be your turn.
Yeah, they've been blatantly announcing Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates. They've all been saying they're getting ready for a second wave, and they're so excited about it. They want to they're basically trying to crush America and then get towards that one world government as fast as they can.
Well, but you got to stop right there because when you keep talking like I do sometimes I talk myself into confusing the person because they don't understand what's going on.
Sure.
No, just know this videotape you saw, it never happened in reality.
Okay.
Nobody ever said it did. Nobody ever said it did. Not one single person. Not one single person ever said it was real.
The witnesses have not.
And they'll go, well, so-and-so did. No, they didn't. Go look
That's
at it.
true. The girl standing behind the cell phone on the sidewalk, she hasn't come forward either to say that was my cell phone video. I deserve 10 million views on YouTube. You'd think she'd go for that. That's another good point right there.
Nobody. So it never happened. But what did happen was somebody held on to it until it was time where people were like out and about anymore, and they could actually,
Holy moly!
And they dump it on the media, and the media goes, "Hey, my God! Oh my blah 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 blah." And they run with it.
I think I remember hearing a video clip of one of those third or fourth cops showing up. I think I heard him say off camera that they're just running an exercise, and then then of all the previous clips I've seen since then, that one seems to be scrubbed from the internet.
I know, it must have been scrubbed. So anyways, they tried to take away my 1 year of my college career. They didn't get away with that. They tried to take away like 250 of my cases. They didn't get away with that because they had to fix it. And then, this is great. State Bar Texas calls me on the phone and goes, "Hey, guess what?" I'm like, "What?" So they go, "You're not a lawyer anymore." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They go, "You've been completely removed from our system."
They just barred you?
No. I never existed.
Wow.
They just like I know people up there. We talk about other stuff. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they go, "Yeah, you posted about them doing that shit for your ACU stuff and your files, so we thought it'd be funny to go look and see if they'd done it to you here." And goddamn, we had like a breach like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they took your whole thing out. No, like 2 a.m. in the morning, a couple of nights ago, they went in because they can record the breach on their system. They know it happened. They just can't tell you who did it.
To the best of your knowledge, I'm sorry, Timothy. To the best of your knowledge, who is they? "Quote unquote" they.
Oh, they is probably people that are really, really low level social justice warriors who are trying to, protect the purity of the narrative. Like your hackers, not just your big ones, not the people who really care about big stuff, but like just people in the basement that just want to be part of the group.
How much of this do you think? We know this probably connects a lot to BLM, Black Lives Matter. How much do you think connects to George Soros?
None of it. He's better than this. He doesn't spend money on shit like this.
Okay.
He does not spend money on dumb stuff like this. He spends money on stuff like these huge freaking transmitters out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Interesting.
That can transmit information. He doesn't spend stuff. Why would he have to? People were saying about that earlier. Oh, it's George Soros did this. I'm like, no, dude, no. That'd be stupid. Why would he have to? One videotape, leak it to the press. Wait for 2 weeks, stir, and watch it rise.
Wow.
How much money that would cost you? Nothing. And you got these Antifa guys, who, most of those guys are not what you think they are. They're trust fund kids running around with, trust fund kids.
Yeah, I've seen a Craigslist post saying we're recruiting for Antifa rioters $25 an hour, and I would imagine anyone who's been cooped up in their home waiting for a stimulus check would love to go and throw some bricks through some windows for 25 bucks an hour.
Well, all I'm telling you is this: I don't think that those kinds of decisions by that kind of guy, when you get to those kind of people, this is way beneath them. I mean, it'd have to be a whole lot for them to care. Because they got bigger things, the bigger fish to fry. They got this virus coming around on the second round.
Yeah.
But these riots are great because they got the energy out of the system. They're like, all right, great, we've done something wonderful. Let's all be friends again and stay inside our homes and be peaceful. And that's what they're going to do again, I guess. They're starting to close stuff around the big cities again. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, long story short, I got to go.
Thank you,
Tell me
Tim.
later.
Thank you, Timothy. I might have William Wagner, the host of the show, reach out to you personally, but thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, hey, do me a favor.
Yep.
Don't credit me with anything until you talk to me. Because I'm going to make sure I give it all to you correctly the way that I want it presented. In other words, me and you can talk about this shit and we can be good buddies about it. But when you tell somebody that doesn't get it, we got to be better with our words.
Sure.
Our language.
Absolutely.
Because it confuses them.
Yeah, we would.
You jump from you went from Soros to Illuminati and all that stuff. I'm like, screw that. Don't even worry about that. That's
okay.
Not my conspiracy. Not my monkey. Not my circus.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to get you on the phone maybe tomorrow. If you had just even 10 minutes, I think we could have it all ironed out and nice and smooth with clear audio. And if I could get your permission for that, that would be amazing.
That'd be fine. And like I said, I'm not one of those. I'm not a person who would say something without having evidence to back it up.
Of course.
I don't speculate. I will tell you that I believe, and I can show you why I believe it, but I don't speculate.
I'll try to. Sorry to interrupt. Could I reach out to you tomorrow sometime?
Sure, just text me first.
I'll text you.
I got so many phone calls. I don't answer some of them.
Sure. Well, I will text you tomorrow in the morning. And you're in Texas. You're in Mountain Time or?
Really, Texas, we're in Central Time. The whole state's in Central Time.
I'm sorry. I'm in Mountain Time. Excuse me. You're in Central Time. Okay. Yeah, I'm calling from Utah. Okay.
Well, tell your host of the show that he doesn't have to go anywhere crazy because the truth is going to be just as crazy.
I believe you.
I'm a nobody. I mean, it was just crazy. They didn't have to do anything. Oh, they took the freaking hard jackets from the university. Texas A&M came to the